You being next to me. You want to make note? You want to know? It's fine. You want to make note that the open. Everybody else is here. We have some high standards to live up to. I've been to the Dragon meetings, so they run some pretty good meetings there. Did everybody get copies of the minutes last meeting?
Their emails go through Ken and Bob?
Yeah, they do.
Get the second one?
Yeah.
I should have caught it, so, I don't know, maybe Frontier was down for that during the storm too, so, sorry about that.
So if we have a motion on the minutes of the last meeting,
And there could be a second.
Brenda moves, got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I don't think I have too much to change to the agenda, other than, I just got a couple of things to say before we open this discussion. I guess if anybody else is filming, we appreciate you being over there. Thank you very much. Our goal here is to not divide the township. We all want to be able to drive down the street and wave to our neighbors. So, during this open discussion that we're going to have tonight, we're going to limit everybody's comment to 3 minutes. And Bob will keep time. He'll give you a 30-second warning. Could we have them sign in? Do we have an extra?
I can take care of that.
Okay. Okay.
Just state their name.
Yeah, state your name and address.
Okay.
I appreciate everybody's respectful of everybody's opinion in there. And it doesn't have to necessarily be to, this discussion doesn't have to be necessarily for wind ordinances. If anyone has anything else they want to bring up in front of the planning commission, you're more than welcome to hear that tonight as well. So I think before we do anything else, we'll open this discussion to the wind turbines. Whoever wants to come up here and speak, there's a place for you to speak.
Good evening. Brought a few documents for you guys. My name's Kevin Martis, 11917 Wagner Road, Ragged. Former Vice Chairman of the Ragged Township Planning Commission. I was the lead architect for most of the language that is presently under review or a setback. I brought you some documents you may not have. There's a seventh member, correct, who's not present tonight. That's the Vestas V100 documents. I don't know if the developers have furnished those to you. They never did to us in Ragged. There's also some other documents here that we put together from the IICC, the Interstate Informed Citizens Coalition. I'm a director of that organization. And then finally, I brought you some documents. I guess there's some question on property values. We brought a number of, I only have one each, a number of documents that talk about property value effects associated with industrial wind turbines. And in general, the consensus of these reports is you'll see property value losses of somewhere between 25 and 40% within 2 to 3 miles of a turbine cluster. And often homes inside the footprint of the turbines can become unmarketable. One 36 turbine cluster in Canada resulted in 12 abandoned homes. So my main point is to bring you these documents tonight and say if you ever want to enlist my experience as a resource for how we drafted this stuff in Riga and why we made the decisions we did up to this point. I'd be glad to chat with you.
Okay, cool, thanks.
You bet.
Thank you.
And we have extra documents here that are available to anybody.
Anybody else?
Where would you like me to stand?
Wherever you want.
Okay.
Select your family.
My name is Joshua, 6140 Sunny Lake, and I'm actually a Sylvania resident. Like Kevin, I'm also one of the directors of the IICC. And I'm here to speak to you tonight about proper siting of turbines. We've all heard many people on both sides of the issue. People are pro-wind, they're anti-wind. I think the state of Michigan has kind of taken away a lot of that argument of being anti-wind. This is not something that we have the ability as citizens to absolutely stop or to ban as a planning commission or a township board. But what you can do to protect your residents and your citizens is to have strong, enforceable regulations. There are a number of things that can be regulated. One would be a physical setback, just the distance from a turbine to a home. There are a number of various proposals out there on setbacks. The developers that came into Riga have proposed, one has asked for 1,000 foot from a home, the other's asked for 1,320. If you look around the country, you'll see ordinances that vary up to and exceeding 1 mile. 1320 is, in my humble opinion, far too close to a resident who is not participating in the project itself and not receiving any sort of financial compensation for the inconvenience that they will receive living close to a turbine. Another thing that can, and on the IICC, we proposed a 1 mile setback. You'll see an abundance of research that shows that there are a number of complaints regarding noise, shadow flicker, and also health concerns that can be mitigated almost completely by implementing a 1 mile setback to keep these away from non-participating residents. One of the other regulations that can be proposed by the Planning Commission and adopted by your township board would be a sound limit. There are sound limits around the country that vary widely. What has become more common and is being more commonly recognized as a viable standard to prevent health effects and to prevent complaints from residents would be a 35 decibel sound limit at night. Many scientists have looked at this, audiologists have looked at this, and have said that the best way to do it is to establish a baseline ambient sound level in your township. In rural areas like this, it's often 20 to 25, or maybe as high as 30. And then anything more than a 5 decibel difference in that sound created by turbines, people will notice that, and as it becomes a greater disparity between the background ambient noise and the noise of the turbines, there are increased complaints. The audiologist that spoke at a seminar that we provided, Rob Rand, his research indicates that you really need to get to about 8,000 to 9,000 feet to completely eliminate complaints due to noise. So that 1 mile setback of about 5,400 feet gets you very close. It may not completely eliminate it, but it will drop the amount of complaints drastically, and the 35 decibel sound limit will also coordinate to drop those down. One of the other key issues that you can regulate would be shadow flicker. Shadow flicker is a phenomenon that occurs as the sun rises and sets each day. If there's a turbine between the home or a person and the sun, you're going to get this constant pulsing of light as the turbine blades rotate. At 330 feet long, which is the proposed length of the Vestas V100 turbines, those shadows will be cast about 3,000 feet. So quite a length. And again, this can be addressed through a setback, or you can also address this through your regulations that would require either that the turbines be shut down at certain periods of the day, or there is technology that's readily available that can be installed on the turbines that can detect when a shadow flicker event is occurring and stop the turbine for that few moments that it needs to be stopped until the sun moves out of position, and then you eliminate that shadow flicker problem. And that eliminates a major annoyance to people that live near turbines. If you've not seen an example of that, I would invite you to visit our website, www.iiccusa.org, or also lifewithdecalturbines.blogspot.com. And then the final thing is a public safety matter. There's been research that's been done. There's a report on WLMB.com/wind that talks about signal degradation, and it's a public safety issue because as these turbines are spinning, they create signal interference with TV signals, radio signals, and possibly communication signals. That's a safety issue because if you can't notify your citizens of an impending tornado or a possible Amber Alert for missing children, this is information that needs to be communicated to your citizens in a quick and efficient manner, and without TV or radio to do so, the citizens are put in jeopardy. And these are things that you can regulate to make sure that your citizens receive the proper safety that they enjoy now after these turbines are installed, if they are. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Make a quick one.
Sure.
Laura Van Camp, 6867 Scott Highway. I don't have all the details that they do. I try to read all the things that they provide me with, but I don't have those types of facts and figures. I rely on those guys for that, but I'm a Palmyra Township resident, and I just want to state that I hope everyone's rights and safety are looked out for as equally as anyone, you know, not just the people who want to benefit from these things. Because I did live in Toledo for a lot of years, and just recently, in '08, bought my house on Scott Highway. I'm surrounded by one single farmer for several miles. And if he would choose to put those up, it would drastically affect my day-to-day life. And I have a newborn son, just came in December, and I moved him out here for a purpose. And I just would like to see my regular life stay the way it is. That's why I chose to come back to this community, and I would hate to see it change this dramatically.
Anybody else?
I'm Tony Pate from 227 North Quick Street, Mansfield. I'm just a concerned citizen as well. We appreciate